Have you ever been having a hard moment, alone in a room, and your cat suddenly appeared? Maybe you weren't making much noise. Maybe you were just sitting quietly with something heavy on your chest, and somehow, from wherever they were in the house, they came. They jumped up next to you, or pressed against your leg, or just sat close enough that you could feel them there. And part of you wondered if it was real, if they actually knew, or if you were just reading into it because you needed it to mean something. It means something. What your cat does when you're upset is not accidental, not coincidental, and not a projection of your own emotions onto an animal that doesn't notice. There is something real happening in those moments, and once you understand what it is, you'll never feel alone in them quite the same way again. 1. They felt the change in you before you said a word. Your cat was not in the room when it started. They didn't see your face fall or hear you catch your breath. They were somewhere else entirely, doing the slow, private business of being a cat. And then they came to you anyway. This is the part that feels impossible to explain until you understand what cats are actually measuring. They are not reading your mind. They are reading your body, and they are extraordinarily good at it. When your emotional state shifts, your body changes in ways you're not conscious of. Your breathing pattern alters. The rhythm becomes slightly irregular, shallower, or heavier depending on what you're feeling. Your posture changes. The micro movements you make, the way you hold your hands, the stillness that settles over you when you're trying not to fall apart, all of it shifts. Your cat has been studying you specifically for as long as they've lived with you, not casually. With the focused, cumulative attention of an animal whose survival depends on reading the environment correctly, they know your baseline. They know what you sound like and smell like and move like when everything is fine. And they know, with a precision you probably underestimate, when something is different. The moment you changed, they registered it, and they came. 2. Your body is giving off signals they can literally smell. Here's the part that goes even deeper than behavior. When you're under emotional stress, your body releases cortisol. It changes your scent in ways that are subtle enough that another human standing next to you would never notice. But your cat is not working with human-level smell. A cat's sense of smell is estimated to be somewhere between 14 and 18 times more powerful than yours. They don't just smell you. They read you chemically. Your emotional state has a scent, and they know what it means because they've smelled it before, always connected to the same changes in your behavior, always followed by the same kind of stillness or sound. Research into how cats perceive human emotional states has found that cats respond differently to their owners depending on the owner's emotional cues. They're not indifferent to how you feel. They're tuned to it in ways that are partly behavioral and partly biological. When you're crying or close to it, you are essentially announcing your state to your cat in a language they understand at a level below conscious thought. They're not deciding whether to care. They're responding to something their whole nervous system is already registering. And hey, if this is changing the way you see those moments with your cat, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat people who want to understand what their cat has been trying to tell them all along. 3. What they do next is not comfort the way you think of comfort. This is important to get right, because misunderstanding it can actually make you feel worse. When your cat comes to you while you're upset, they are not doing what a human friend does. They are not trying to fix anything. They're not offering perspective or solution. They don't work that way, and they don't need to. What they're doing is proximity. Presence, the deliberate, chosen act of being near you when you're not okay. In cat social structure, this is one of the most significant things one cat can do for another. When a colony member is injured or unwell or distressed, the response of a bonded cat is not to make noise or perform concern. It's to stay close, to remain, to be a warm, steady presence that says, without any words at all, "I'm not going anywhere." When your cat presses against you while you cry, or sits just close enough to touch, or settles into your lap with a weight that feels almost deliberate, they are doing the exact same thing. They've assessed the situation. They've registered that you're not okay, and they've made the choice to stay. That choice, for an animal that is perfectly capable of simply leaving the room, is not nothing. It is, in the language they actually speak, everything. 4. The ones who stay closest have been paying attention the longest. Not every cat responds to human distress the same way. You may have noticed this if you've had more than one cat in your life, or if you have multiple cats now, and only one of them reliably appears when things are hard. The cats who show up consistently in those moments are the ones who have built the deepest map of you. They've logged the most hours in your presence. They've accumulated the most data about what you look like when you're okay and what you look like when you're not. And they've had enough positive experiences of coming to you and finding that your state eventually shifted back to baseline, that they've learned, in whatever way cats learn things, that their presence is part of that process. These are almost always the cats who follow you from room to room during ordinary days. The ones who orient toward you when there's noise from outside. The ones who wake up when you get up in the night and watch you until you come back. They've been paying attention the whole time. The moments when you need them most are just when that attention becomes visible to you. 5. How you receive it changes what happens next. This matters more than most people realize. And it's the piece of this that you actually have control over. When your cat comes to you in a hard moment, your instinct might be to ignore them because you're focused on what you're feeling. Or to pick them up and hold them tighter than they're comfortable with because you need something to hold on to. Or to feel vaguely guilty that your cat is seeing you like this, which is a strange but common reaction. None of those responses complete the exchange the way your cat needs. What works, what your cat is actually looking for in that moment, is acknowledgement. A hand placed gently on them, your voice, even just saying their name quietly. Some signal that you received what they came to offer. When you do that, something shifts. Their body settles. The checking behavior, the sniffing, and the circling, and the careful positioning resolves into stillness. They've confirmed that you're okay enough to respond, and that information is what they came for. The cats who become most consistent in showing up during hard moments are the ones whose presence gets acknowledged. Not rewarded, not made into a performance, just received. Quietly, genuinely, in a way that completes the loop they came to close. Over time, that acknowledgement builds something. Your cat learns, at whatever level cats learn things, that coming to you when you're upset matters, that it does something, that you notice. And so they keep coming. 6. The cat who stops showing up is telling you something too. I want to end with something harder. If your cat used to come to you during difficult moments and no longer does, that shift is worth paying attention to. Not with alarm, but with honesty. Sometimes it's simple. A change in your living situation. A new animal in the house, a disruption to their sense of safety that has nothing to do with you personally. Cats who feel environmentally unsettled pull inward. Their resources go toward managing their own anxiety, and they have less to extend outward, even toward the people they love. But sometimes it reflects something in the relationship itself. If the moments when your cat came to you and tried to be close were consistently met with being pushed away, or picked up roughly, or ignored entirely, they adjust. They don't stop caring, but they stop trying to show it in that particular way because experience has taught them that it doesn't land. This is not a judgment. It's just how cats work. They're enormously adaptable to the emotional reality in front of them, which means they adjust to rejection as readily as they adjust to welcome. The way back is the same as it always is with cats. Smaller gestures, less pressure, creating the conditions for closeness without demanding that it happen on your timeline. Sit in the same room. Be still. Let them come to you when the distance feels safe again. Because a cat who has ever shown up when you were crying, who has ever crossed a room specifically to sit beside you in a hard moment, has already told you something true about how they see you. You are not just the person who feeds them. You are the person they orient toward when something in the environment changes. The person their nervous system has decided is worth moving toward, even in the middle of the day, even when nothing is being asked of them. That's not a small thing to be to another living creature. The next time your cat appears when you're not okay, before you wonder whether it's real, remember what it took for them to be there, the attention they've been paying all along, the signal they caught before you made a sound, the choice, entirely their own, to come find you anyway. It's not a coincidence. It never was.